Hello folks and welcome. My name is Christopher Carr, also known as Natural Body Man, and today we have a presentation on how blood pressure and blood volume travel in the cardiac cycle. Now basically, this can be broken up into 5 phases as far as looking at it from the ventricular perspective. The first phase, phase 1, that is where we call it isovolumetric contraction. And that is where the ventricle is contracting. Okay, now as when you saw our last video on the cardiac cycle, you know about the 4 chambers of the heart, the 2 atriums and the 2 ventricles. So in this phase, the ventricle is contracting, but the volume is expanding. So right here, the AV valves, they're shut off, and that's basically this phase, phase 1. Phase 2 is where you have the contraction of the ventricle. So here is where your AV valves are open, your semilunar valves are open, the pressure has gone up from more than 80 millimoles of mercury, and you have the ventricles contracting, propulsing blood to the aortic semilunar valve and to the aorta on the left side. Okay, good. Phase 3, now we're looking more at the atrium. Atria is now, the pressure is greater there than it is in the ventricles. Okay, now the volume is stagnant. It's not increasing or decreasing, it's stagnant. But the pressure is increasing. And the AV valve and the semilunar valve, they're both shut off. Okay? Phase 4 is diastole. That's your relaxation. And here is where you're relaxing and the atrium is really filling. Both the atrias are really filling with blood, and the AV valves, your bicuspid and tricuspid valve, and your semilunar valves, they are both open. They are open, and the atrial pressure and the atrial volume are greater than the ventricular pressure and the ventricular volume. Okay? Phase 5, that's called atrial contraction. That is where the atria is contracting and proponing 30% of the remaining blood into the ventricles. And so that is the last phase. So basically the first 2 phases are systole, and that is where the ventricles are contracting. Phase 1, where the volume is stagnant, but the pressure is greater than the atrium. And phase 2, where the ventricular pressure is greater than the atrial's pressure, and the ventricular pressure is, the ventricular volume is also greater than the atrial volume. So that's phase 1 through phase 5. Okay? First 2 phases, ventricular pressure is greater. The next 3 phases are all in diastole, and that's where the atrial pressure is greater. So again, I appreciate you wanting to find out how your blood is working, how the pressure is going with the blood, and the volume in your heart. And it's very good knowledge, not only to study and get a good grade on a test, but it's also very good knowledge in case the loved one of yours has a heart problem. For as we know, the biggest killer is heart disease in the United States of America, and in many other countries it's a very big killer. So knowing this knowledge will help equip you with the confidence in case it happens to you or someone else. Thank you very much. Chris Carr with Natural Body Man.